Hey, peace and blessings to your family. I hope you're doing well. This is Zion. I just want to take a few moments of your time and I just want to talk to you about the reality of reentry. There is a hard, cold, and core reality of reentry as it relates to men and women that are coming back home from jail and from prison. And this has a special place in my heart for many different reasons. As one who has survived mass incarceration and who thrives despite it, I understand the various nuances of it. I have met many men throughout my entire journey who fit in one of the three categories. Either they were first time offenders, repeat offenders, or they were innocent of the crime, yet they were found guilty in the criminal justice system and thrusted into the mass incarceration system, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry, mind you. Now, those who actually have criminal records, be it misdemeanor or felonies, make up 70 million people in the United States. Now that exceeds the population of France, which is 65 million, the United Kingdom at 63 million, and Italy at 59 million. That's not only an epidemic, it's a pandemic. It is an atrocity, to be honest with you. And unfortunately, if you're not an entertainer, if you're not an athlete, or a politician, society will not welcome you with open arms. We live in a society that sounds good, that we believe in second chances. And I think for some, that stands true. But for most, they do not. Second chances are given to people who are of a star status. The Lindsay Lohans, the Paris Hiltons, these individuals. And we can go on and on. Various stars who were incarcerated, yet are making multi-million dollars now. And so that changes the entire game. But Jason, Jennifer, the average person, they're looked at with disdain and disgust and rejection when they come back home. And this reminds me, and this is on the cusp of a post that I posted on LinkedIn, and you can follow me at at Pinnacle Community Outreach. Pinnacle Community Outreach. And I made a post about living a shame-free life and why it's so important, regardless of where you've been, but to be consciously aware of where you are, but where you're going. And I was mindful of those who were formerly incarcerated. Nelson Mandela, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X. And we can go on and on. You talk about stars, Charles Dutton, class act of a gentleman. Even the late and great Barry White. So many people that have shown us the way on how to bounce back and live that shame-free life. So this gentleman, he responded to my post and he let me know that he had been to prison not once but twice. The first time a 15-year sentence and the second time close to 5 years. So I encouraged him to break the cycle. I encouraged him to encourage himself. And that he can be a light of hope shining in the midst of darkness for someone else that may want to take his place in prison. And so he came back and he responded to my reply and said, my question is this, Zion. How do I find someone willing to give me a chance to prove my worth in the job market? Having graduated the prison entrepreneurship program, Baylor University School of Business, getting a certificate or certification, in entrepreneurship? How can I gain employment and use everything I have learned to help others? Now, see, this is the $1,000,000 question. This is where the rubber really meets the road, where the ball really meets the bat. And I marvel sometimes at individuals when I go and I speak faith-based organizations as being a minister of the risen Jesus Christ, the Messiah, Yeshua. But not only that, being the executive director of Pinnacle Community Outreach, I understand certain nuances on both sides of the fence. Individuals that are coming home and dealing with the shame, dealing with the grief due to loss, losing their good criminal record, losing, many of them had jobs, many of them had housing, losing connection with their loved ones, or losing their loved one to an untimely death. And so they're coming home with grief, with sorrow, with post-traumatic stress, trauma-based issues, and having to deal with rejection, but also self-rejection. I understand that. I understand that we live in a society that says that, yes, you do deserve a second chance, but again, it all depends on who you are. But a society that also says that, you know what, I won't hire you because I don't trust you because of your past. And even if you didn't commit the crime, they said you did, so I hold more, their word holds more weight than your word. Because if your word were true, then you would never have been incarcerated. So how do you explain the Brian Banks story? How do you explain so many other stories that are brought to us by none other than the Innocence Project, that have exonerated so many men and women from crimes that they did not commit? That's not counting the ones who are still there, who are not exonerated. But regardless of the fact that everyone should have another chance. And so in responding to him, I'm responding to him, I'm responding to myself, I'm responding to you, those who have been incarcerated, those who have been out in civilian life for a long time, those who are struggling within your own mind and in your own soul as it relates to believing in yourself, because the same society that says that they believe in a second chance have slammed so many doors in your face that you have given up on yourself. And I'm also speaking to that boy, that girl, that mom, that dad, that aunt, that uncle, that wife, that significant other, that you are connected to someone who was incarcerated. Maybe your son, maybe your daughter, maybe your niece, your nephew, your mother, your father. And you were traumatized right along with the ones who were incarcerated because you did time right along with them. Your jail cell or your prison cell was the entire space around you. You were not physically locked up, but you were mentally locked up. You were emotionally locked up. And in many ways, a broken spirit, you were spiritually locked up, because when your loved one got the sentence, the judge also sentenced you too. I'm here to encourage you as well. And so I let this individual know, this man know, that you know what? Society is not going to roll out the red carpet for you. If in fact they do roll out a red carpet, it will be the red carpet of rejection. There are many employers that will hire you, but most will not hire you. They cannot get over the barrier of discrimination. And that's what it is. Let's call it what it is. It is discriminatory on all fronts. To judge me by my past rather than to see me for my present and the accomplishments that I have made along the way that proves and gives starch evidence that I am a changed man. or a changed woman. You would rather go by my past that has little to no merits than to go by my present that has all the merits in the world. Character that I have obtained, work ethics that I have obtained, but most of all, a changed mind. I'm no longer addicted. I'm no longer a drug addict. I'm no longer an alcoholic. I'm no longer what society says a criminal. No, I am a law-abiding citizen, a tax-paying citizen, and I'm just looking for a job to take care of myself and my family. So I address this individual and I address you all that I would adjure you to look into three areas. So the doors continue to get slammed in your face time after time after time. You get a knot in your belly, in the pit of your stomach, when they say we want to run a background check. Oh, well, okay, I already know what it is. I'm out. I want you to pursue three categories. Number one, entrepreneurship. I believe that for many, entrepreneurship is the way. It may be the only way. Not to say that no one will ever hire you. No, that would be a lie. Because there's an employer that's out there that's willing to take a chance on you. To see the new you, not the old you. Will you be under the microscope? Absolutely. Will you be closely scrutinized? Absolutely. But that is your chance to not show them, but to show yourself how good you really are. And that this company is better with me than without me. But if in fact that doesn't happen for you, what do you do in the meantime? Starve? The devil is a lie. God has given you gifts and talents that lie on the inside of you dormant that needs to be awakened. That you need to use and maximize and cultivate those giftings that God has given you to use as a platform and an instrument of entrepreneurship. To go into business for yourself. To not only make a viable business and money for yourself and for your family, but also to bring others along. Not only to bring others along, but to have footing and credibility within the community. Perhaps the same community that you sold drugs in and that you helped to destroy. Now you can go back and to help rebuild that community as you rebuild your own life one brick at a time. Entrepreneurship. And also another dynamic of entrepreneurship, to gain some political footing. To now, after you have rebuilt the community, or you are rebuilding the community, you are making money and bringing in and generating an income for yourself that is sustainable. And you're bringing others along that you can trust. That are dependable and that are loyal. Now, to meet legislators, that now you can also support them that may pass a bill that will help you in your situation and those that are just like you. Secondly, learn a trade. College and universities are not for everybody. But I tell you what, if you have a trade, from East Coast to the left coast, you'll have a job. From continent to continent, you'll be working. The last time I checked, they're still building. They're building condominiums like it's nobody's business. They're building houses. People have to have a place to rest and to lay their head. And they're building roads and highways. They're building businesses and restaurants and bars. They're still building. They're building grocery stores and malls. If you have a trade of building, of drywall, of if you're an electrician by trade, if you know plumbing, if you know heating and air, if you know the nuances of building, you'll always find a job. You'll be working while PhDs are homeless. You'll be working while many have master degrees that are working at Jack in the Box. You'll be working and making a good income for yourself. Thirdly, network, network, network. That is regardless if you're working for someone, if you have a trade, if you are an entrepreneur. You need to be out there networking. Many of you are bound and burdened by so much shame and rejection that you feel and you think that you don't belong in many circles. No, you do belong there. You need to be there. As a matter of fact, that circle is not complete until you show up. That room is empty, even though it's filled to capacity with people, until you show up. And you have to show up with the attitude that not only do I belong here, but this whole room, this entire gathering is what it is because of me. It's not arrogance and it's not cockiness. It is an assurity, an assurance that you have on the inside that not only do I belong, but I'm supposed to be here. I complete this. And I have something that you need because your job or your company, your firm is incomplete right now because I'm not there. I'm the person with integrity that you need to hire. I'm the person that's loyal and that's dependable and hardworking that you need to hire. Not only am I a team player, but also I have the ability to be a team leader. You have to believe in yourself. And that's what I told the gentleman, and that's what I tell you. That living in this time right now that we're in, you have to make a door. If there's no door, then create your own door. If there's no pathway, then you create a pathway. Be a trailblazer, not a pathfinder. And so that's what we do at Pinnacle Community Outreach. And this particular book here, Bridging the Gap, Success After Your Sentence, this is a curriculum that we teach many of the young men while we are connecting them with viable and sustainable resources such as housing, because they suffer from housing discrimination, employment discrimination, and of course those who cannot vote to make a political expression, they suffer from discrimination. And so we teach in this curriculum dealing with conflict resolution. We deal with shame. We deal with anger issues. We deal with real life issues. What is your circle of influence? Do you hold the capacity within yourself to be a leader? You've been a follower all your life, following the wrong people, ended up in the wrong place, ended up in prison. But now it's time for you to lead yourself out of this bondage and to lead others. So Bridging the Gap, Success After Your Sentence, and not only that, a practical guide with yours truly on the front, a practical guide, how to succeed after your sentence. So I am the poster child on how you can succeed after your sentence. And I'm not the only one. There are many out there, and that book is behind me, by the way, along with other books that I've written. There are many out there that are showing the way on how you can succeed. But if you don't believe in yourself, if you look through the lenses of society that says that you're once a criminal, always a criminal, that you're untrustworthy, that you'll always be an addict, or we don't trust you, we don't believe in you, then you will never succeed. You will always fail. Until you begin to look at life and yourself through lenses that are not flawed, but that you do belong, that you are greater is he that is in you, and you are going to hold yourself to a higher standard and a higher level of accountability, because you get more riding on you, and there are a lot more people that are cheering for you in the background that you don't know anything about. They are waiting for you to succeed after your sentence. So I say all that to say this, is that you can make it if you decide to. The only prison that's holding you is not the prison that you left. It's the prison that you walked in. That mental prison. That emotional and spiritual prison. You don't need a furlough, sir or ma'am. You don't need a furlough or weekend pass. You don't need work release. You need to break out of that prison that's too small to hold you. So you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn at Pinnacle Community Outreach. Go to my website. Find out about what we do. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. There are many organizations that's out there doing mighty and great things, such as Pioneer Human Services out in Washington State. You have the Exodus Foundation in Charlotte. You have Favor Ministries under the tutelage and under the leadership of John Jennings. Elder John Jennings is doing great things there as far as transitional housing. So there's so many places that you can plug into. And also, I just want to say this book, that book behind me, A Practical Guide, How to Succeed After Your Sentence, not only deals with how to prepare you for what you will encounter here in society. Not just the good, but the bad. But to mentally prepare you, to emotionally prepare you. But in the back are 50 resources. So it doesn't make any difference where you are from coast to coast, from the East Coast to the left coast. You can plug into any one of these 50 resources and find some help and find some hope. Be it housing, be it jobs, be it therapy. And we deal with therapy too. And so reach out to me. And my business website is theshamefreelife.com. Theshamefreelife.com. Reach out to me at Pinnacle Community Outreach. That's pinnacleoutreach.org. Pinnacleoutreach.org. If you're on social media, hit me up. If you're on IG, hit me up at Shame Free Life or at Zion Speaks on IG. If you're on Twitter, tweet me and I'll tweet you right back at Shame Free Life. If you're on Facebook, reach out to me at Ronald Zion Roseboro, and also tag into my page, my fan page, which is Zion Speaks at Shame Free Life. So you can make it. It's time to break out of that prison. You've been locked up too long. This world is waiting for you. Peace and blessings. Love you to life.